Okay, let's raise our big talking point today. Is the failure to control price rise the biggest weakness of this UPA government? That's the big talking point on India at 9 tonight. Joining us now, Rajiv Pratap Rudy, Member of Parliament and spokesperson of the BJP. Manish Tiwari, MP and spokesperson of the Congress, will be joining us. Prasanjit Bose, who's the head of the research unit of the CPIM, is with us. Kakali Ghosh Dastidar, Member of Parliament of the Trinamool Congress, is with us. Before I come to all of you, I just want to give our viewers a sense of how inflation has been spiraling in the last 5 months and is now hovering dangerously close to that double-digit mark. Take a look at how it's gone. January 2011, it was 8.23%. February 2011, it was 8.31%. By March, it went up to 8.98%. In April, it came down marginally to 8.66%. In May now, it's back to 9.06%. And now the fear is that we could be hitting double-digit inflation. Kakali Ghosh Dastidar of the Trinamool Congress, are you going to protest or not? Are we going to see the allies taking on the government on this issue? Allies like the Trinamool Congress, or are you simply happy that you are being able to cut cess in West Bengal and you're not looking at the bigger national picture?
The Chief Minister of West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, was the first to declare this cut in cess to help the middle class and the lower middle class people. But of course, she has sent in a note of dissent to the government because we don't want the people of the country to suffer from this price hike. At the same time, we have to remember that the world
sorry to interrupt, ma'am. What is a note of dissent to mean? Your Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee was a member of the empowered group of ministers on fuel prices. She and Adagiri of the DMK never even attended those meetings.
You see, she has let the government know, the UPA2 government, that we are not happy with this price rise. At the same time, we have to think that petroleum products is deregulated, it is not controllable by the government, and it depends on the price rise in the international market. And we have to also keep in mind that just a couple of years ago, the world went through a period of deep recession. You know, it's the largest since the Second World War possibly, and we are just coming back from it when we have to keep many international factors in view. So the government has not got much to do, and even in the prior government in which the UPA1, in which CPIM was there, 11 times the price was raised, 11 times.
But I will,
so it is a thing that is compulsory.
Okay, you made your point. You're saying that
so we have to be careful. We are not happy with it.
You're not happy with it, but Rajiv Pratap Rudy, the BJP itself was the party which removed, in a sense, the administrative price mechanism or the APM, and you allowed for a while fuel prices to be linked to global prices. Today, in hindsight, how would you have handled this situation better, given the fact that there is a global crisis, that countries across the world are experiencing slowly double-digit inflation? How would the BJP NDA have handled it differently?
Yes. First, I have understood your question. And when we said we wanted to get rid of the old system and have the administered prices regime, you must recall in 2003-2004 when we left the government, the inflation was 3 to 3.5%, not like today 10%. So if you manage the inflation, if you manage the economy well, you can take such decisions. When you mismanage the economy and then try to take decisions like this, it is certainly going to hurt a common man. All this last 6 years, Manmohan Singh government has been talking about 9% growth. Go and ask a man on the street, does he understand what does that 9% growth mean? Or go and ask him, what does the price rise of petrol and diesel mean to him? If he can distinguish between 9% growth, which the Congress people tom-tom, and what a common man on the street has to talk when the prices of petrol and diesel are raised year after year. In 2008 also, similar major raise was done. The question here is, why is the government keen on raising resources like this? It's more than 1,40,000 crore, which comes as taxes, excise, central excise duty to the government. Why can't it come down and reduce the excise duty when such situations arise. So the more the government raises the cost of fuel, because today the cost is the cost of petrol, the actual cost of petrol would be around 30 to 32 rupees a litre. We sell it at about 65 rupees a litre. The entire money goes to the government. If the government is really interested and wants to reduce the under recovery, why doesn't it reduce the taxes? Why does it keep on taxing the companies, petroleum companies, taxing the people and have this economy?
But
so these are the questions which my Congress friend could answer.
Yeah, but that is a question which all parties have to answer. For example, Prasenjit Bose, when the left was in power in West Bengal, you had some of the highest duties on fuel products. Now, after the government, the centre announced a decision on Friday, suddenly all state governments are cutting duty, cutting cess. But the fact is, your own government, the left government in West Bengal, had among the highest duties on petroleum products. So every state government, every political party has to take responsibility.
Rajdeep, first of all, let me contradict you, because the highest sales tax in the entire country is in the state of Andhra Pradesh. And the left front government, when it was there, the last round of...
Among the highest was your state?
They had, no, not among the highest. And sales tax, if you look at it, there are a lot of states which have more or less similar kind of sales tax. But I think that shifting the entire burden onto the state governments is a ploy of the central government, which itself collects much more in central excise and customs duties than the state governments collect through the state sales tax and VAT. So I think that's a huge digression. What is the basic issue here? You have a ruling party MP just claiming that prices have been deregulated. It is only the petroleum price which has been deregulated. LPG, kerosene and diesel have not yet been deregulated. The basic point is that you are saying that we are subsidizing this sector by, according to budget papers, 25,000 crore. How much are you earning from this sector? The total tax revenue earned from this sector only by the central government is above 1 lakh crore.
Okay, so you're saying that you're now benefiting the oil companies at the cost of the Aam Aadmi. Hold on.
No, it is not. No. You are not getting my point. More than benefiting the oil companies, it is benefiting the government.
Right, okay.
The government is imposing huge amount of taxes, and the MPs like the one who spoke before me are fooling and lying to the people by saying international prices have gone up. Even by today's international price, the price of petrol should have not been more than 30 rupees per litre. Why are we having to pay 60 rupees per litre?
Manish Tiwari is with us.
Tax you are imposing.
Let Manish Tiwari answer that. Manish Tiwari, I have the Prime Minister's words in February in the President's address, where he expressed the confidence that I am hopeful at the end of this fiscal year, the rate of inflation will come down to about 7%. I have what Pranab Mukherjee said around the same time, where he also said it will come down to 6.5%. We're now heading for double-digit inflation in the month of June. Your response?
Well, Rajdeep, let's understand a few things clearly. First of all, the Indian economy, like many other economies in the world, has a hydrocarbon addiction. We import 84% of our crude. There has been a dislocation on the supply side because of the situation in Libya. And it is not only us, it is other countries around the world, who've also made adjustments in order to deal with this particular crisis. You see, these canned emotional responses that we see every time that the government carries out a price adjustment because there's a fluctuation in the international market, I don't think gets us anywhere. You see, ultimately, the short-term or even the medium-term solution is to get our economy off its hydrocarbon addiction and see how we can invest more in renewables, more in intermediates, so that we can insulate our shock. That is the real issue. You see, ultimately, if the international price was to move up and you're importing, Rajdeep, whatever you may do, you have to carry out a price adjustment.
No, hold on. It's not just about...
Mr. Tiwari...
Yes.
Mr. Tiwari is once again digressing from he is not mentioning one thing. What about the government's taxes? I am saying the government is taxing the petroleum sector. It is milking it. The international price today in rupee terms is 30 rupees per litre. You are charging 60 rupees per litre for petrol.
No,
why are you taking so much tax? Why can't you cut taxes?
Allow me to answer that.
Yes.
Allow me to answer that.
Yes.
Allow me to answer that. I think it is possibly because of this warped economics, the left got the kind of drubbing which they did in West Bengal. But be that as it
You
may,
answer my question. You
the
don't get
tax
into all
which the
this
government
digression.
collects,
You never answer the
I am
question.
answering your question. I am only giving you a reality check, my friend. So therefore, allow me to answer the question.
Yeah, hold on, please.
The
No,
tax which the
Prasad,
government collects,
One by
the
one.
government spends that tax on NREGS. It spends that tax on the National Rural Health Mission. It spends that money on a large number of other poverty alleviation and social welfare measures. It is not that the government takes that tax home. So therefore, to give this
Is this
warped
the only
logic
way to tax?
and
But,
to lie
it's
through
not-
your
Is
teeth
this the
as
only
to
way
the
to tax?
government,
What are you talking
keeps
about?
that tax, with itself and is unnecessarily burdening
Why
the
can't you
people
tax the rich?
is precisely the kind of warped
No, hold on,
economics
Prasanjit.
which got them booted out of West Bengal.